you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. We welcome you to today's show and ask those of you who have not subscribed to please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to expose the satanic Illuminati agenda. We also ask those of you who are new subscribers to subscribe to our backup channel. If you're a follower of the show, you enjoy the show, it's helping you in your awakening process. The link to the backup channel is in the description box as well as in the comments section. We only ask that if you're somebody who enjoys the show, in case this channel gets taken down by YouTube for exposing the truth. I don't think it will happen, but for copyright reasons in some of the videos, or who knows what they can find, they do whatever they can sometimes to stop the truth movement from happening, the awakening from happening, especially truthers, quote-unquote truthers, which I don't even want to call myself. I prefer to just be a guy who's trying to awaken people. But the mentioning of Jesus Christ's name and the awakening with all these symbols that I'm pointing out, those two put together, they don't like. If I was just talking about the symbols, they probably would be okay with it. But the mentioning of Jesus Christ, they don't want his name mentioned. They don't want people pushing anyone towards reconnecting with Jesus Christ and our Father in heaven. That's against the rules as far as they're concerned. Their goal here is to take as many souls away from our Father in heaven as possible. And the goal of this channel is to do the exact opposite, to lead as many of them back to our Father, back to Jesus Christ as I possibly can, through showing you these symbols and these signs so you could start waking up and noticing the signs around you. We've done many videos on this channel exposing their symbols. Today's show, I want to expose yet another one. It is the cross of the Baphomet. Now, we already know about the upside-down pentagram and how that represents the Baphomet, the goat head, the Baphomet which they worship, the deity. It goes back to the Knights Templar. They've been worshiping the Baphomet, who is a form of Satan himself. It is Satan, although they'll claim it's not. They claim it's a god of balance in the universe and all these ridiculous things. At the end of the day, it's a goat that has breasts and a penis, and they worship it. And they mock us as followers of Jesus Christ. They mock us, yet they worship this thing. So let's talk about the cross of the Baphomet. The cross of the Baphomet, you can see the image here. Aleister Crowley made it well known when he revealed this symbol in various documents which he released and signed himself that had this symbol on it. You can see this symbol is being used now in the Freemason lodges as the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rites. When you get to that level, you wear this little hat as these losers, these 33rd degree Masons who just look like absolute imbeciles, look like toddlers dressed up here. Where you can see these guys wearing their hats that have this symbol of the Baphomet on the hat. That is the cross of the Baphomet that they are wearing. You could see Albert Pike, one of their Freemason heroes. They read all of Albert Pike's teachings, such as Morals and Dogma, and all these things that reveal to them that Lucifer, Satan, is really the god that they should be worshiping. He's the true god of the earth, and that they themselves are also gods. That's what the hidden knowledge is. And the rest of us are sheep, or goyim, or we should all be trampled. We're pretty much cattle in their eyes. So you can see these old men here wearing their 33rd degree hats. They look like they're about to go trick-or-treating or something. I mean, I guess this isn't embarrassing to these old farts that they're sitting there, you know, worshiping the devil, wearing these little costumes that they wear. They look absolutely ridiculous. I'd be humiliated if I were them. I mean, this guy's got to be 70 to 80 years old. Look at him. Take a look at this guy. Worshiping the devil, worshiping Satan, with his Baphomet cap on, his little costume. You also see the cross of the Baphomet inside of the Masonic lodges on the walls, on some of the garments that they have inside of there. You'll see, as I mentioned, you'll see Albert Pike wearing it around his neck. You'll also see former President Gerald Ford, who has been linked to, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard Kathy O'Brien's testimony. her MK Ultra programming, but that she was under, and she was a sex slave for the occult. But Gerald Ford was linked to lots of pedophilia claims. Of course, they never went public, but you should listen to it if you ever never heard it. Kathy O'Brien's claims of Gerald Ford and the pedophilia he was involved in. But here you can see him wearing the cross of the Baphomet on his tie. And that's what you have to look for. It's things that are as simple as that. Something you wouldn't notice. You just say, oh, it's a tie and it's got all these zigzags on it, or it's got all these little symbols. But as I've been saying, symbols are what really run the world. They operate on communicating through symbols, through secret handshakes, through codes, through color coding, all of this stuff that we've been trained not to pick up or perceive because they've thrown us into the public school systems or whatever school systems. They're all the same. They've thrown us into these school systems where they train our mind to think one way while theirs works another way. So we would never pick up on these codes. We would never see these symbols that they use. But you see Gerald Ford wearing it. You could also see a variation of it on a cover of scumbag band Slayer's album, right? God hates us all. People love this guy Slayer. Real trash. Guy's got a nice ticket to hell soon. So if he's worshiping the devil, I guess he's going to get what he wants because he'll be going there pretty soon. So they use this symbol. It represents the cross of Baphomet. It represents the Baphomet. It's another symbol for Baphomet. In addition to the upside down pentagram, which is the goat head that they do their satanic rituals and sacrifice inside of, all of their worship of the Baphomet that they do. You can see it. It's kind of a symbol you wouldn't pick up on. Some people see it and they think, oh, it's a cross. There are so many variations of the cross that they use, and I'll go over more of them in different videos. This is just the first one, such as the papal cross that the Pope uses. All of these have occultic, Wiccan meanings behind them, satanic meanings behind them. But I wanted to point this one out specifically, the cross of the Baphomet, because you will see this show up in places, and you'll look at it, you would never think that's what it represented. You just think it's a logo or a symbol, because that's, like I said, that's how we've been trained. But try to spot it out, because this has masonry written all over it, 33rd degree masonry. You can see all the symbols, that all the times that the Masons use this, the 33rd degree Masons in the Scottish Rite use this symbol, and it pops up all the time. You'd be surprised. But if you start training your mind to see symbols like the cross of the Baphomet, like these other symbols we've talked about, there's simple symbols like the all-seeing eye, right? We've all kind of started picking up on that. Obviously, people who are awake know that. But now you need to start picking up on other symbols because, like I said, they run on symbols. They operate on symbols. They flash symbols. They flash all of these codes through the television, on magazine covers, everywhere, through handshakes. We're living in an opposite reality than they are. Right? It's like when you grew up, they would always show these videos and they say, wow, with matter, there's two worlds operating in the same space at the same time, but you can't see the other one. Well, that's the great illusion that they pull, because there is two worlds operating in the same place at the same time. We're living in a false reality. And we believe all of these things that they've created on the television, such as, these elections are real, and our vote counts, and we have freedom. We don't. This is just a different variation of slavery. And it's sad because the goal of this, or the end goal for them, is going to be leading all of these souls away from Jesus Christ, leading them away from our Father in heaven, from the truth. And from the truth. They're all being misled. They're not looking like this. They're not seeing symbols and signs and codes. But if you start seeing these things, you can start not only awakening yourself, but you can start pointing them out to other people around you constantly. You have to start indoctrinating them with the symbols so that they go, okay, fine. And then they stop walking around in an alpha state, sound asleep 24 hours a day on their phone, on their devices, watching the television, on their Kindle, their tablet, whatever they're on, sleeping, sound asleep. So train your mind to start looking for these symbols. This is the cross of the Baphomet, another blatantly obvious symbol that they use. A lot of people don't know the meaning of it. You might not see this one as often as you would see some other ones, but musicians, not just Slayer, have incorporated it in music videos and on album covers. So you can look for it. There's variations of the cross. There's an inverted variation. So keep your eye out for those things and keep trying to find the symbols and looking for the symbols because they're right in front of us all the time. And the only way we're going to help people wake up is by exposing the symbols, by exposing the false gods, and start breaking the walls down and showing people what's really going on. I thank you for listening to today's show. I truly, truly appreciate all the support the channel's been getting. All glory goes to Jesus Christ. All glory. So there's no need to thank me, people who write messages on my wall. No need to thank me at all. All glory always goes to Jesus Christ. I greatly appreciate the support and the kind words. I will continue to do my best to expose these people who are controlling our reality, controlling our world, and exposing their symbols, because this will help in the awakening process. So God bless all of you. May peace be with you.